All right, so today we're going to talk about one of my very favorite players in the NBA. Free agency is almost a week in, and the majority of impactful free agents have already been signed around the league. James Harden's still figuring out what he's going to do in Philadelphia. Grant Williams signed with the Dallas Mavericks, which I think is a really good signing for them. Mo Bamba recently signed a one-year deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm not crazy high on Mo Bamba at this point, but we'll see what happens. The Trailblazers re-signed Matisse Thybulle, 3 years, $33 million. It's kind of confusing because it's like, are they going young? Are they trying to win now? Honestly, I don't even think Joe Cronin knows what he wants right now. An underrated move which happened recently is the Sacramento Kings snagging Chris Duarte for 2 second-round picks from the Pacers. I think he's going to fit their scheme really nicely. Duarte is a guy that I specifically really wanted Phoenix to target in his draft. They went ahead and traded that first-round potential pick for Landry Shamet. RIP. Even though the pickings are getting slim, there's still a few solid free agents available. I know Christian Wood had rough sledding in Dallas, and they might not even want him back at all. Definitely not on anything more than a minimum deal, so someone can still grab him too. Bulls former guard Ayo Dosunmu, he's still available, and he's shown flashes early in his career. He's got good size, 6'5", and he's shot as good as 37.6 from 3. But there's one man that I think specifically stands out above the rest on the available free agent list. And of course, you saw him in the thumbnail. It's Tsunami Papi himself, Kelly Oubre Jr. Hit the like button for me, please. It helps this new channel out so much. And tell me in the comments, where do you think Kelly Oubre should sign next? So Kelly came into the league drafted by the Washington Wizards, and his time there wasn't stellar. In his 4 seasons there, he never cracked 13 points per game, but halfway through his 4th season, he was traded to the Phoenix Suns. It's funny because the Suns thought that they were going to get Dylan Brooks in a different trade with the Grizzlies, who at the time had not created this aura around himself as one of the most hated dudes in the league. A trade was almost finished for what they thought was going to be Dylan, but the Grizzlies said, nah, we thought you guys said Marshawn Brooks. It's funny because this was actually a franchise-altering moment for the Suns, and they had no clue at the time, as they pivoted and traded for him. Who knows what would have happened if the Suns got Dylan Brooks like they wanted? Because bringing in Kelly Oubre literally changed the Suns franchise forever. Not hyperbole.
That is not a joke. That is a natural fact.
Now, when he got to Phoenix, the Suns were still a laughingstock. Devin Booker was the only valuable piece of that team. The vibe in the Valley was sad. And then in comes Kelly with seemingly unlimited swag. And this was back when the word swag was still used, so don't judge. He brought tenacity and pride to the Valley. And it was contagious. The vibe in Phoenix was never the same, in the best possible way. He had back-to-back career seasons, 17 points and 18 points per game consecutively, and then the bubble happened. Now, during the bubble, Kelly was injured, and he didn't get to play on the team that went undefeated, 1 game shy of reaching the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. This sealed his fate in Phoenix. Considering the Suns were able to win every game without him, once the deal became available to get Chris Paul, who would even further change the franchise forever, seemed like a no-brainer. You can understand that, right? Your team goes on a ridiculous winning streak it's never seen before and shows the first signs of being a contender in the future, and you're not there to help any of it at all. That's honestly fodder to make the argument that he might have been the problem, which I can assure you he was not. Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges were emerging at that time, and it just made sense to use Oubre to get Chris Paul. Not to mention the former owner at the time was still Robert Sarver, a notorious cheapskate who likely wouldn't have paid him anyways. Signed the next season by the Golden State Warriors, you would have thought he would be a perfect fit there. His long arms make him a defensive menace on the wings, getting steals on ball and by intercepting passing lanes, plus his 3-point shooting ability. But his production dipped. And I remember watching him on the Warriors. He looked ice cold more often than not. After 2 less impactful seasons with the Golden State Warriors, he ended up with the Hornets. In his first season with them, averaged 15 points flat, but his next season, the most recent season, he put up another career high, averaging 20.3 points per game. I feel like Kelly is one of the most underrated players in the league. And I'm not sure if his market is drying up, but it seems that way considering he still hasn't signed anywhere. He has, however, been linked to a handful of teams. One of those is the Memphis Grizzlies, and that's scary. He would be incredible on the Grizzlies. His effort, his tough mentality, his grit, it all fits in perfectly. His defense, three-point shooting, and his ability to attack the rim. Needless to say, I'm crossing my fingers that he doesn't end up in Memphis. Let's just say he'd be a much better version of Dylan Brooks. Man, these two guys are linked in more ways than one. Now, going back to the Golden State Warriors, they've been rumored to be interested in bringing Kelly back as well. But I feel like it's not as good of a fit as the Grizzlies or others, mostly because it just didn't work in that system before. It's the same system with the same coach and the same core. I don't see how it's different the second time around. And I don't see why Kelly would want to go back to a situation that was less than ideal for him. Having said that, I would be more scared of the Warriors if they got him. The 76ers are another option for Kelly, and I think this one makes a lot of sense. Philly has been pretty quiet this offseason, and this would probably be the best move that they've made so far in the offseason. I think the fit with him and the Sixers is awesome. He won't get in the way of Embiid at all. He'll play good wing defense, and he won't take touches away or hurt the development of Tyrese Maxey in any way. If anything, he'll turn him into more of a dog with his contagious energy. I think it'd be an A+ signing for them. The Dallas Mavericks are interested as well. Just like the Sixers, the fit would be like a glove. The Mavs need defense and a dynamic wing that can make people pay for doubling Kyrie or Luka. But I remain steadfast in my belief that a return to the Phoenix Suns would be the best fit for Kelly Oubre Jr. And not just because I'm a fan of both he and the team. I would immediately catapult him into the starting lineup. And yes, he would have to take a minimum to go back to Phoenix, but simply for 1 year. Your title favorites going into the season, and if they can live up to that billing and Kelly plays a significant role or even just a positive role, boom, he's getting paid next offseason. A payday that I think is well deserved. Suns fans would more than likely unanimously celebrate this, and the energy would be immaculate. Tell me who you guys want to see Kelly Oubre sign with next season. Another team or your team? Thanks for hanging out. See you guys next time.